Hello. Damn. So it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been around a year. This looks so weird. Oh man, I haven't done this in so long. But let me know how the sound is. Not that you guys can give me feedback or anything, but basically what I'm gonna do for this video, if I can hold this thing for as long as I'm gonna talk for, that's gonna be impressive, by the way. Um, yeah, I just want to give a recap. Oh shit. I might be dying, hypothetically, it could be the case that I got the you know what, um, and I did. So I'm quarantined right now. It's been like 6 days. I'll do my best not to cough, by the way. Um, proceeds to cough 4 times. But yeah, you know, it's good to be back doing this. It's been a while. I'm definitely not used to it, but I wanted to come on here and give a recap of my year. Um, so yeah, if you're down to stick around, feel free. This is something that I do to look back on this year, which I would say has been a very eventful year, and I'm extremely happy and proud to say that. Um, I think I've been able to accomplish um, quite a bit this year. I've taken a step forward, definitely, which is great. Um, so I'm just going to break it down month to month. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So starting in January, so January actually started off, and it was the I'd say one of my hardest periods because basically the situation was that I had taken a gap year, um, so an extra year to complete my bachelor's degree because I was finishing up. I had 3 exams to give that I still hadn't completed, and then uh, I did an internship, that 3 month internship, and so yeah, basically I had to finish these 3 exams, which were the toughest exams that I could do because they involve numbers, and I'm super bad with that stuff. I just I just can't understand, which is great. Um, no, but basically, like January was the month where I had one exam lined up. It was applied math. Is it still recording? Hello. It was applied mathematics, and so there was a bunch of theorems and all that stuff because that's how the Italian system is. It's a lot of theory and not much practice. It's just drill it in your head to remember, and then you know spill out everything that you can remember on paper, and then we'll give you a grade for that. And so I remember that and that was the period because usually in January I'm like everyone else, like I'm super motivated, I'm super inspired to like, yo, like this year I'm gonna make a change, like I'm gonna start becoming more disciplined, like all this stuff, right? So I was super motivated. Um, and wow, okay, yeah, and so that's basically what I did. I discovered this YouTuber who his name is James Schultz, and he's pretty viral. Like if you look him up, he blew up this year because he was basically doing these study with me's where he would study 12 hours, like not straight, but he would do 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 10 minutes, and like he recommended 3 books to read, which were Deep Work by Cal Newport, Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins, and Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he basically explained how those 3 books inspired him to just like to not have barriers anymore, like to really push himself to his limits to become a great student. And that's something that I really needed at that time because I remember I'd be studying maybe 3 4 hours and I'd be dead, and I'd be like, yo, like I can't do anymore. And then I would see this guy study for 12 hours and I'd be like, wait, so students can actually study these long hours, like how does he do it? Like how can I replicate that? Because if I'm able to replicate that, there's a higher chance that I'm gonna pass my these impossible exams, um, and then get into apply for my master's degree. And so what this guy did was that he would go to bed super early, and wake up super early and just start and just start grinding, right? And so that's what I decided to do. I I remember I would go to bed every day. I think from starting January 5th or something, because then I did New Year's and then all that stuff. I went to bed from January 5th at around 8:30. 8:30 p.m. I'd be in bed. And what I discovered is that in the beginning it was hard to fall asleep because my sleep schedule was different. Obviously, going to bed at 8:30 is a little hard. But then I slowly discovered that I would be able to fall asleep really quickly. Like within 10 minutes of hitting the bed, I'd fall asleep. And that was because in waking up early, like your body uses more energy earlier. And so by the time it's night, like it's easier to fall asleep than if you were to wake up at noon or 1 p.m., you know? And so I was doing that. And it was definitely hard, but I was able to consistently study 6 hours a day minimum daily. So 6 to 8. I think 8 hours was the maximum, like 8 Pomodoro sessions of 1 hour was the maximum. Then I would just get like, I'd feel literally sick, like due to lack of sleep. Like I would study longer than how long I would sleep for, which was crazy. But that's basically what I did until January. I took my exam. I passed it with the minimum score, which was all that I required, which was fantastic. And February was a little tough as well because I also had another exam lined up early February, which was microeconomics. That was wait, no, that was the exam that I was actually studying for, microeconomics. And so I passed microeconomics, but then I had to take applied mathematics like right after microeconomics, and I failed it because I didn't have enough time. And so I had to rejoin the class of the first year students, and I was basically a fourth year student. So I was like 3 years, 4 years older than these guys and taking the same course as them, which kind of, you know, it took a hit to my ego. I was like, damn, like I should be done with this, but I'm not. But it's cool. Like, I would go to university, study. I met a lot of these people, mainly to study, honestly. Um, and so I remember I stuck with it. I was definitely out of my comfort zone because all my friends had already been starting their masters and all that stuff, and I was still doing this course. And basically, um, long story short, I passed micro as well, which was great. And then I passed micro, and then I passed applied math, and I did it in the partial exams. So I did the first partial in March, and then the second partial in like May, and I passed it, whatever. So then, basically, yeah, I was basically studying, and then I was doing while I was doing that, I was applying to universities to start my master's because my goal was to do a master's degree starting September, wherever that may be. I applied to Bocconi University, got rejected. I applied to Copenhagen Business School, I got rejected. And then I applied to ISADE, ISADE's Master in Marketing Management, and I got accepted. Um, and this was like a big flip for me because I'd say that until March, I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I was depressed. Like, no, because I really want to tread lightly when I talk about these topics, because a lot of times when you talk about depression or things like that, it's almost like I don't want to sell other people short of what they're actually going through because I wasn't diagnosed with depression. I had a I struggled a lot with it in 2017, 2018, and I remember I went to the like psychiatrist like almost desperately like, yo, just give me something because my body, like, I feel sad all the fucking time. So just give me fucking pills. Like I went up to the like that's how that's the stage that I went that I was in because I had bottled up all this shit for all those years. Hadn't talked to anyone about it, and then I just exploded. You know that 0 to 100 thing, which is what I'm working on now. Um, you know, not to go crazy on people, but the opposite to like slowly open myself up and like be more honest with people and speak my mind, bottle things up the least possible, so that I can have that mental stability. You know, so that's something that I definitely struggled with, and something that I wanted to repick up because I remember in 2018 I started going to therapy for the first time in my life. Um, because my whole life I always talked myself down, like in the sense like, oh, you don't have a problem, like just don't be a pussy about it. Like you know, people go through this shit all the time. Like you don't need help. Like you know why you're feeling this way. You know what you have to do. Just don't feel bad. Like sorry, the thing cut out, but I was saying I basically put myself in a situation where like I put myself in a position where I felt guilty if I were to go to the psychologist because it's like I'm wasting her time. Like I'm a pussy. Like what the fuck. Like you know. And I realized that's so wrong. And so I stopped going to therapy in 2018 because of this reason. And so when I had more time in the beginning, in these beginning months, I was like, fuck it. Like, you know, I feel like shit all the time. Like, I feel very uninspired. I feel empty. You know, I felt empty. Like, my life had no, like, I was walking, but I didn't know where. You know what I'm saying? Like, my body was moving. I was waking up. I was getting through my day. But then I just felt like I had no vision. I had no, um, no purpose, you know, like, you know, days where I would just feel like waking up, staying in bed, going back to sleep, or days where I felt like if I died, like who cares? Like my life is pointless anyway. So I was dealing with that shit, and so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and seek therapy, and I actually went through hard on it. I took it very seriously. I went there. I did my best to express myself in the best way I could, and it was helpful for me. You know, because it was the first time that I spoke to someone, a psychologist, who like give actually gave me positive feedback back to me. Because most of the time I'd speak to my family and like, you know, nothing against them because I feel like I would only open up to my family when I would get to the point where like I'd be exploding almost, as in like I had bottled everything up for so long that by the time I like came clean and talked about it, I was very rude, angry, aggressive, and everything. I had a lot of fallouts with my family. Like lot, I remember. Jesus Christ, I'm dying. Um, I would have holy shit. I would have some fights with my parents because they just didn't understand, or like I didn't express myself well, or whatever it was. But my mentality was like, "Yo, fuck these guys! Like, I'm not gonna talk to them anymore about the shit that I'm going through because it doesn't help me at all." Um, and yeah, so I started seeking therapy, and it was great. Um, in terms of academics, I had passed my exams, um, and like this is what happened. It's like I think I started going to therapy in like mid February, and then I kept going. Um, and then while I was doing that, I was still studying for the last exam that I had to give, um, which because I did micro, I did accounting, whatever. I did two exams, and I had one more to give. And this final exam was mathematics, which I said before, but it was split into two parts. So I had to do the partial in March and the partial in May. So I had to pass both partials. That was hard to say. And so I passed the first one in March, and then from March onwards, I was going ham on the applications for ESADE because we had to write a lot of essays and communicate and all that stuff. Which it wasn't hard, but it was very time consuming. So I was keeping up with that, calling like the head of the department for applications coming from Italy, speaking to him, like video essays, like all this stuff. Um, and like I would say I stopped feeling like depressed, like because when I like when I say I'm sad, like my definition, like now that I'm not depressed and that I would even argue like I'm happier than before, like because living alone all this time, like I genuinely forgot what it felt like to be happy. And like I was only able to acknowledge that um more recently now that I moved to Barcelona because I got accepted uh, by Asade, and like my life changed from there. Like it was super cool that like what I was feeling, I was almost like a stranger to it. Like, yo, why do I feel good? Like, why do I have so much like positive energy? Like, it was just so weird, and that's what made me realize like how like depressed I was before. Like, just no energy, depleted. Like, I lost passions for almost anything. Um, and it was just like that. But I'd say that in Italy, in April was the point where I think I finished my application for Esade, and so I was basically free. The only thing I had to do was study for this second partial in May, so I had a lot more free time, and so I was able to hang out a lot more. Also, given that the situation uh, due to the pandemic was getting better, and like runny nose. The problem was that because I was so isolated and like I didn't really care about other people, as in like I didn't care about hanging out with other people because I was too busy, or I didn't uh, I didn't find the time, or I didn't feel like it could help me. I didn't have fun with these people anyway. Um, I didn't have a lot of friends that I could reach out to. Also, because many of them were already doing their masters abroad, and the ones that were still here, um, I clicked with a bit less. Or I don't know. I wasn't in the mental space to go and talk to people. But I was with my brother, and so props to my brother because he he brought me in to some of his hangouts. I remember the first time that my life like changed from that negative feeling was when I got accepted to Asade, and I went partying with my brother and his friends, and it was fucking fantastic because that like that was the first instance in a while where I was like, yo, what I'm feeling right now, like I'm happy. Like I'm genuinely happy about this. Like, my mind wasn't thinking about anything negative. And that was the first time in I'd say 10 to 12 months. And so that's when it changed. Like I managed to pass my exam in May. I officially got accepted to Asade, and then my summer started. And summer was chill. Like I forgot what I did, to be honest. But I know I had fun. I was with family. I was with my brother. We organized a few hangouts or whatever. But the juice is Esade, Barcelona, my new experience. Like, yo, when I tell you that this was the best choice, one of the best choices I've ever made to come to Esade in Barcelona and to start studying there, like, yo, like I left an environment here in Italy that was so necessary to leave behind because I feel like all my all my sadness, all my depression was here basically, and I was like, bro, like I need a change. Like I don't want to study here. I need to get out there and go somewhere else to study, and that's exactly what I did. So I had three roommates. First time living with roommates. Um, but like, yo, this experience has been so far one of the best experiences of my life. Like, Academically speaking, like I love it. You know, the classes are great. They're not theoretical, they're more practical, which means that you actually need to understand the material and apply it rather than just drilling it in your head, used like, in a way that doesn't even make sense and for you to forget the next day. But also just the people, man. Like the people are super like they're my type of people, you know? Like I click with these people. They're more international, and nothing against people that are from Italy, of course, but it's just like a different culture in the way that I grew up, and I just didn't click with them at all. Like I didn't click with the Italians, um, and but I did click with these people in Barcelona, and it's fantastic. Like it's you know like we hang out a lot, we go clubbing, we go to restaurants, like we even study together, which is great. But like it's crazy that this experience has given me a bit of life, a bit of life. And like I want to latch on to this. I want to latch on to this feeling and to be myself more and to, not be scared or give a shit about what other people think. And that's just where I'm at right now. Like sometimes in life, like when things aren't going your way, you need to find a way to create an opportunity for yourself. And sometimes you may not have that opportunity. So you need to break that opportunity down in daily habits, if that makes sense. Like if you don't have the opportunity to go study abroad, like you do have the opportunity to set up your day in a way that makes you feel better. I remember here in Italy, part of the reason why I felt like shit all the time is because I had nothing going on except studying. Um, in Barcelona, as I said, like I have a really balanced life, which is fantastic. And also like I've been caring about myself more even physically. Like, I'm going to the gym consistently, I'm eating clean, like I'm doing sports. Like just seeing myself look more fit is so cool to see. Like it's so fulfilling. And I love that. And so yeah, that's just like the summary of the year, I guess. Like right now it's December. I I told myself I was gonna post every other week. I posted once a year. I posted one time this year. And but I managed to accomplish all the things that I set out for myself to do other than YouTube. Um, I managed to get into this university, which is great. I managed to um, get more fit. I had a goal to be more fit. I'm the fittest I've ever been. Um, I, I had a goal to have a good relationship with a few people, like a few, like good relationships with a few people. And like, I feel like I've done that. I have that. I want to maintain that. Um, and yeah, man, like that mental health aspect, it's like I started going to therapy, which is great. I stopped once I got to Barcelona, but it's something I want to continue doing. And if there's anything that I want to improve on more, it's faith, like to be more faithful, like to continue my journey, with God, because he drives me, every day. Like I do neglect him at times, and I may be blasphemous at times, but that fire is always within me. Like the willingness that I have to do good for other people, um, and for myself is always there. And that light is something that I never want anyone to shut off, including myself. And so yeah, like that's just an honest recap of my year. Um, it's the first time that I've done this sit down talk for a while. And yeah, I hope you guys have also had a good year. And like I don't know, man. Like my advice is just to just put one step forward every day. Like you know, just do bit by bit every day. Take days off when you feel like you need them, and most of all, like do what makes you happy. Like as cliche as that sounds, like fuck what other people fucking think. Even if it's your parents, like if your parents try to dictate your schedule or make you feel that you need to behave in a way that like isn't in line with what you want to do, fuck that. Like fuck that. Like ever since I've been standing up to myself more and like kind of telling my parents to like fuck off, like not literally, like but in my head it's like, yo, like they don't have no one has the right to dictate how my day needs to be or guilt me into doing something that I don't want to do. Like fuck that. Fuck that. I don't deserve that and neither do any of you if you're going through it. And so that's just it. Like the moment that you put yourself first and you don't give a fuck about what other people think about your choices, like that's when you're truly going to take steps forward into being happier because you'll be living for yourself. Like, and that's what life is. Like, because bro, chances are, like at least for me, when I got all these achievements that I really didn't do for myself, because I, to be honest, like I don't know what I want to do in life, and like I'm just studying because I have the opportunity to, and I'm studying something that I'm passionate about. But it, like by no means do I think that this is something I want to do for my life, like as a job. Like I don't know, like even when I obtained all these objectives that I didn't even want to like achieve myself, like I didn't wake up every day thinking like, yo, like I want to graduate to find a job. Like, no, I just knew that it's something I had to do, and so I forced myself through it. And even when I did achieve it, like I didn't even get like the right praise for it, like because there was always something missing. So it's like no matter what you do, there's always something more you can do. And so you'll never be happy. Whereas if you set your own standards for life and what it is that you want for yourself, and you like, you don't look for approval in other people, you look for approval from yourself, like, that's when you become happier. That's when you become happier, more inspired, more fulfilled. Like, that's where you get your energy back that you've been missing, at least in my case. So that's the biggest lesson that I've learned this year. And it takes assertiveness, it takes character. And that character you need to build. Like, whether it be through therapy, talking to other people, like finding hobbies that allow you to think more of yourself, whether it's the gym, whether it's soccer, whether it's chess, like whether it's literally anything, like reading, whatever. Like, you need to find that time and give yourself priority of that time. Because for so many years, since I started university, like, I'd say I've felt nothing like myself. Like I've felt so fucking negative about my life and everything because I've never like I didn't give a shit about myself. Like I used myself as a tool, like a literal tool to meet the standards that other people have for me. And I don't even know what those standards are. Like these are standards that I put in my own head that people may not even have. But like I condition myself to behave in a way that satisfies other people's standards of me or ideals of me, ideas of me. And like that fucking drives you crazy because there's no metric, there's no finish line. You know what I'm saying? And so you need to find the character to like find what it is that you like and not feeling guilty about doing it. If it, obviously, if you're gonna tell me you like killing people, I'm not gonna tell you to go kill people because it makes you feel good. But it's like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you have a passion, fucking go do it, bro. If it makes you happy, go do it. Like, fuck what other people think. Like, honestly, fuck what other people think. And that's it. Like, ever since I've done that, and also surround yourself with people that make you happy. Like, God, that's so important. Like, all my life, not all my life, but like, since I started university, my mindset was always like, you know, like, you don't need anybody. Like, you're your own self. Like, you know, you're happier alone. You're more. But what I realized is that I'm so self deprecating and so hard on myself all the fucking time that, like, it's problematic for me. Like I need like there was this one time in this was in Asada by the way. We had a presentation and like I was with my group and like my best friend from his side is in my same group. And yo, like we presented fine. We got to the discussion question where the teacher asks like questions to delve into more detail or whatever. And yo, when I tell you that I fucked up my answer so hard, like, bro, I was in front of the whole fucking class and like I was speaking about something that was incorrect and I didn't know about that. And the teacher was like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, that's the Spanish accent. Like, he didn't understand what I was talking about. And so I went back on my desk and I was confused because I was like, yo, why is he like delving? Why is he fucking delving so much into detail? Like, I don't think I'm wrong. Yo, I went back to my desk, I checked, and I was so fucking wrong. And like, dude, I was so angry and disappointed in myself. And like, I was like, oh, you fucking idiot. Like, I fucking knew it all along. Like, you're so dumb. I swear to God, dude. Like, this is why. Like, this is why you need to be fearful every time you present because you're a fucking idiot. Like, all this bullshit. And I didn't want to fucking talk to anybody. I was so fucking pissed. I was like, in my head, I was like, yo, you need to punish yourself. Like, you don't deserve to do shit now. Like, fuck you. You're not going to hang out. You're not going to do shit. Like, this is the warfare that goes in my fucking head. And if I were to be alone, no one would stop me from doing that. But I was surrounded by my teammates and like my roommate, you know? And like I remember I put earphones in, I didn't want to fucking talk to anybody. And like I remember I didn't want to talk to anybody so badly that we walked to the metro together because we were going home. And like I purposefully sat like fucking like in a place where like the only open seat was the one for me, and then it was three strangers. Because I was like, oh, that way I don't have to talk to anybody. Like I don't give a shit. And then when these three people left, the seats open, and then my teammates came over and they're like, yo, you're all right. Like it's okay. Like, you know, like, and we talked about it, bro. Like they brought it out of me. I was like, I get really fucking pissed off when I fuck up and all that shit. And then they were like, yo, it's no big deal. Like, the mentality was like, yo, bro, like this shit happens. Like, no need to, like, it's done now. Like, there's no point in you punishing yourself and doing all this dumb shit. And it's so fucking true, bro. It's so fucking true. And like, that's something I learned. Like, you got to surround yourself with people that like make you better, you know? And that's something I need to improve on. Like, I need to be less hard on myself. And like, if I get to a stage where it's like, it's too difficult for me to like be loving and caring to myself, I need to be with people that help me distract, like that help me pull myself out of my own critique. Does that make sense? Like, and that's also what's made me happier because from that talk with my teammates, like, I think we went out that night or we went to get drinks or we celebrated because at the end of the day, like, we put a lot of work into that presentation. And yeah, I might have fucked up answering one question, but like, we still did a lot of good work and like there was a lot of growth there, you know. And like had I not talked to those people, like I probably would have locked myself in my own fucking room in the dark and like just shat on myself like on repeat. Like I would have literally like dug my own fucking grave and like bury myself under my own critiques, which is I'm dead. It's horrible. So that's just something that has been on my mind, like some lessons that I've learned along the way, and like like God, it's like in this life, if you're not fine with who you are, and if you're not your own best friend in any sense of the word, like you're not going to be happy. Like it's I don't know, man. It's just like you need to be more graceful to yourself. Like, and you're gonna make mistakes. Like, so when mistakes happen, be graceful. Be graceful to yourself. And when things go well, be grateful. Because it's like part of my problem is also like when things go well, I don't give a fuck because I'm like, yo, it's my job. Like, why would I be celebrating? Like, if I'm a runner, right, and I cross the finish line and I'm in second place or something, like I'm not celebrating because it's like, yo, my job was to do well in this race. So by doing well in the race and placing second and getting on the podium, that's my job. Whereas if I were to get seventh, I would fucking shit on myself. Like I'd be like, yo, what the fuck? Like you don't train hard enough, you don't eat well enough, you don't, you're not consistent, you're not disciplined. Like whereas instead, like the best way to put it is like you need to speak to yourself the way that you speak to other people when they come to you for advice when they're down. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's the mentality you need to have. And I don't know why it's so hard for me to have that mentality and why I'm pretty sure other people have it the same way as me. But it's like, bro, why is it that we can be so nice to other people and when it comes to ourselves, like it's just never enough. Like we're shit, we're dumb, we're not good enough. It's like, what the fuck is the point in that? Like why are we wired like that? Or maybe it's just me, I don't know, but like I struggle with this a lot ever since I was a kid. And it's like that's something that I want to work towards, And and so yeah, like now that I caught the CV, you know what I'm saying? The Boris and that. It's like I'm chilling here at home and like all these thoughts are bouncing around in my head and it's like, I just if you're not right up here, like you'll never be in the position where you can like first of all help other people, honestly, and you'll never be in a position where you can fulfill what your dreams really are. Because if you don't have a vision for yourself and you don't have the confidence and the assertiveness and the directness to acknowledge what that dream is and to act like it and to not let anybody step over you, like people will choose what to do with you. Like people will tell you what to do and convince you that's what you need to do. So that's the thing. It's like, you're on your own team. You're on your own team. So what's the point in hurting yourself? Like, because deep down, that's what nobody wants. That's not what you want for yourself. So why would you hurt yourself and telling yourself to work harder to meet standards that have no finish line? Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. Like, these are just some thoughts that I have, and it's like, point is that I'm done playing this stupid fucking game of pleasing other people and like being scared to look dumb. Like I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, and it might be hard for me to change that because that's just how I've been wired. But like it's time that I start caring about myself more and I put myself in front of other people. Like, and I don't mean to be selfish, but I mean to be like direct with what I want. Like, if I want a dream, if I want to get something in my life and like people laugh at it or don't think it's acceptable, like, I'm not going to agree with them and say, like, yeah, you're right. Like, what the fuck? Because that dream will still always play in my head because it's what I want. It's what I want. So, why would I go against myself to meet a standard that I think other people have? You know what I'm saying? Like it makes no sense. So why the fuck am I wasting this time, this energy? Like why am I construing these scenarios that may not be even real and convincing myself that they are to make myself feel bad? Like why is my brain wired like that? You know what I'm saying? And it's like this experience in Barcelona is like the step that has like if I was underground, now I'm at sea level. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still treading water, but I'm able to breathe now. I'm able to breathe. Like this new environment, these new people that I've interacted with have given me energy to breathe by myself now. And like it's been liberating, like truly liberating. Like I've found a balance in my life that I did not have before. And while I'm so grateful for having gone through these 4 shit years here in Italy because of all the studying and the bad balance, like I was able to develop a work ethic where if you tell me to like work 14 hours a day on anything, I'll do it because I've been doing it for 4 years. Like I've been working, like I've gathered this discipline, you know? But at the same time in life, it's not just about work, it's not just about studying, it's not just about like doing what you need to do for your future. It's about what you're doing for yourself to make yourself feel good in the present, you know? Because what's the point in working for something if you're not even gonna like if you're never gonna be in the right mental space to take it in and to be happy. Like with the mentality that I was in, like I was achieving all these things and I was meeting all my goals, but I wasn't happy about them. They weren't fulfilling. You know, it's like, oh yeah, it's like I got accepted. It's like, yes, dude, like fantastic. Like I'm so happy. But also like, is this even what I want? Like I don't know because I've always put myself under. I've I've never allowed myself to open up and you know understand what I want. And so yeah, that's just like a big thing that I realized. And especially now that I have to look for a job in 2022, like it's time, man. I'm gonna get paid, you know. Like it's time for me to start putting myself first. Like, what is it that I want in this life? Like, what is it that I want to do? And like, I did a prayer in Christmas because I was alone. I had nothing else to do. At least I was going to talk to God, and I prayed for two things. I was like, I asked for the strength. I asked God for strength in two ways. The first one is for my dreams. So I didn't ask God to not be fearful of my dreams because I'm gonna be fearful and like it's normal when you step out of your comfort zone to be fearful, doubt yourself, whatever. But in the pursuit of my dream, like I want God to give me the strength to surmount that difficulty and to put myself first and to allow me to believe in myself that things will be okay and that I can do it. I can do it. And the second thing is like basically like that's it. Like how do I want to say it? It's like the second thing is for girls because that's another thing. Like with all the pressure that I put on myself, I think it's like it's affected my personal life with girls because it's like I'm scared to hurt them. Like I'm like, "Oh, I never want to be in a relationship because if I hurt the girl or if I do something that makes me not want to like them anymore, like they're going to suffer and it's going to be my fault and like then I'm a piece of shit and all that shit." But it's like, yo, if you're going to have that mentality, like you'll never have the experiences that you need to live. So it's like I ask God to give me the strength to overcome that doubt and that fear of hurting the other person or to be hurt myself. And it's like they've been learning experiences, but it's like I can't not do stuff because I'm scared. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, I can't do that, you know? And so these are just some lessons that, you know, have been in my head and that I've wanted to share. Um, this is a serious video because, again, like I do this for myself. This is something that I would say to the psychologist, um, you know, and I want to make the most out of this 2022 year, like all of you do. Um, but it's like that's it. That's what I want to do. And so if you manage to watch until here, I'm gonna stop talking now. I want to say thank you. I hope you guys had a good year. I hope you guys will stay along for 2022. I'm gonna hopefully be posting more consistently. And yeah, I love you guys. All right, take care.